April the 6th, 2017. Time to wrap up today's trading and take a look at the Globex markets and tomorrow's session. We'll start with our customary disclaimer. Hypothetical simulated performance results have certain limitations, unlike an actual performance record. Simulated results do not represent actual trading. Also, since the trades have not been executed, the results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. Simulated trading programs in general are also subject to the fact that they are designed with the benefit of hindsight. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profit or losses similar to those shown. Okay, tomorrow is the biggest news day of the month, unless we have something that happens internationally. We could have, with the meetings with China, that could change the unemployment situation a little bit, might mitigate it. We came in this morning 45, 47, and basically selling 55s to 60s. So couldn't do much better than that. Again, the retest failure, the 10-minute charts, mean green trades, they give you better trade location than like these Bs. I mean, right there, that's just not a lot to work with when you get in there. So retest failure, a little triple bottom right there, leaning against support. Your 10-minute charts really can help you out. This B gives you some money. This retest failure with a hell of a lot of patience eventually pays off. These two Bs pay off. Those work. Then long liquidation here pay off in the close. But again, very, very tough trading when you come in the on the opening. It's we're used to dealing with quiet times, and we certainly have had them. Looking at the F1 screen, lower high, lower low. We can trade lower tomorrow. Looking at the F2 screen, pretty square. I mean, we rejected prices, so I just kind of classify that as a D. Leaning P. Tomorrow's non-farm payroll numbers, plus 175. Unemployment 4.7. Average average hourly compensation plus 0.3. Work week 34.4. That's kind of the default number. Wholesale trade plus 0.4. Don't know what the Baker Hughes is going to be, but we had 979 and 824 for the U.S. So again, the U.S. number could be higher. This number could be lower. The focus, the whole market will be right here. Know the number, and you have the trade. And my guess is people are playing for a number greater than 175. Right now, without news, we'd be trying to sell 59s to 60s ones, and then 64, 66. This is without news. On the buy side, we'd be buying 49s to 51s. Leaning against this value area low, and back where we were this morning, 45 to 47. But we do have news, and it's the biggest news day of the month, unless the Fed decides to come in and do something. Interesting stories are starting to come out on Susan Rice and all the spying the Democrats are doing on their political opponents. And one of the stories is that the Russian-Trump deal was made up so they could have an excuse for looking at Trump and all of those that surrounded him. Some of the stories are coming out, this spying's gone on for 2 years, and it's included members of Congress, members of the Senate, certainly Israeli diplomats and leaders. We have interfered in elections. People that were opposed to Obama and his administration. So things are going to get probably stirred up quite a bit by this. Okay, inside day on the note trading range. again, know the news, you have the trade. The market right now, if it weren't for tomorrow's news, we'd be selling 7s to 11s and 15 to 19. We'd be buying 01s to 29s where we were this morning, and 21s to 25s. The story about the Syrian dropping gas on their own population, on the rebels, seems to be fabricated, made up to me. I mean, why would you do that? You jeopardize. I mean, you're getting along pretty good. Trump's already told you that he's going to recognize you and back off a little bit, not require that you get out. So you come and dump gas on your own civilians. So what it looks like is that either the Syrian Air Force hit a supply of poison gas, I don't know whether it be on purpose or not on purpose, it was being built by the rebels, or the rebels did it themselves to get everything stirred up against Trump again. Okay, right here, 8 to 01 to the buck is number 1, 3 to 7 is sell 1, and 15 to 19 is sell 2. Last rotate down, or the rotate down, stopped at 12, so 12 to 16 is number 1. And then where we were this morning, 5 to 9 is buy 1. And then 29 to 01 is buy 2. We came in this morning, we wanted to sell 31s, we wanted to buy 5s to 9s. We have a low at 3, we had a high of the buck. So, and information was in your hand not so early, around 8 a.m., maybe a little bit after that, Central. And B period, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. You had a chance to put that trade on. So, again, we know of what we speak. Looking at gold, again, support 45 to 50 and resistance 60 to 65 in a trading range, and we'll just inside, well, a little bit higher low and higher high. So F1 says you could buy it. F2 is going to give us a different picture. Although that's a pretty square distribution now, not much range. So actually this distribution is starting to lean P. Without news, 57.60 sell 1, 64.66 sell 2. On the buy side, 50 to 53, and then 45.47. Crude oil hung in there on the close. It looks like it still wants to trade a little higher. You could certainly argue that from a fundamental standpoint. So, inside day, holding right here, definitely a little resistance at 52. Looking at the F2 screen, very, very tight. This little tight distribution, I think we had, what, maybe 35, 36 ticks in range, is leaning P, so we can still trade higher. So in London, we'll say 52, 52 and a quarter. Obviously, we got to move higher to get there. You know, you may have to get short against 80. Sell 2, 52.50 to 52.75. On the buy side, 51 and a quarter, 51.50. Then 50.75, 51 buy 2. And last but not least, the euro. Starting to get excited, and the appearing threats going back and forth. The euro rebounded a bit overnight, then drifted sideways to lower. Looks like Le Pen might be trailing in the polls right now, as much as you can believe them. So, market is trying to sell. I forget when the election is, but if Le Pen gets in, what will be the next country to leave? It's going to be interesting if France decides to come out of the European Union, because they and Germany really started it. So F1 says you can sell it, but it's been pretty bad deal for those that have had to pay for or subsidize the southern Mediterranean countries. And France sits on the Mediterranean. Those countries have always devalued their currencies, so you've done really well in those countries by owning houses, real estate, factories, stocks, and that was a way of life. But when they joined the EU, on paper, that was taken away from them. Okay, right now the bottom of the trading range is 106.70, 106.75, and the top of the trading range is 107.20 to 25. So about a 50 tick range. Put all this together, we're looking at a B. So the natural direction of this market is still lower. It will react to the numbers tomorrow too. And based on something bigger than 175,000, the euro should be lower. So 95 to 107 is sell 1. 15 to 25, this is without news, sell 2. 106.75 is buy 1. And buy 2 will be 106.50. I've given you these numbers. We'll probably be looking at these numbers again in the morning, but again, it is a news day trade. And you just have to know the news if you want to take the trades before the fact. Or just put on a small size and see what happens. And that assumes you have a bottom line. Well, thanks for putting up with the delays this morning. Tomorrow morning, hopefully, we won't have those to look forward to. I will see you bright and early, and we'll get ready for our monthly Newsday trade. Y'all have a great evening.